Hi everyone, welcome back to the CH Wine Tasting Room. I'm Chris Lafleur, your sommelier at large, and I'm here with Wanda Mann. Wanda, what are we going to be tasting today?
We are tasting lot 949. It's a 2019 red wine blend from Napa Valley.
Oh, I'm already excited, but this one is a little different than the other ones that you see out of Napa.
It is. Everyone knows Napa. We tend to think of Cabernet Sauvignon, right? What's interesting about this blend, there is no Cabernet in this blend. It's 5 really interesting grapes, and I know there's some Petit Syrah.
There's some Petit Syrah, a little bit of Grenache, a little bit of Alicante Bouschet, and I believe there's also some Mourvedre in there. So there's lots of things to combine here and create an interesting amelioration of grape flavors and aromas.
Great. And what I love about a blend, again, I know winemakers love that opportunity maybe to be a little more playful, to experiment, and the blend allows them to do that. And also the challenge of the blend, right? Because you have all of these different grapes with different personalities, different styles, bringing different things to the wine. So I like to think of the blend as kind of as a musical group. You have your bassist, you have your drummer, you have your lead singer, but you need them all to come together in harmony. And a good blend does that well. It's like your favorite rockin' group.
Absolutely. I love watching George Harrison do his thing, but sometimes I want to see the Beatles.
Exactly.
And that's what we have here. So let's have a look, see how it's developing. Oh, beautiful.
You always say the eyes drink it in first, right? So the beautiful ruby kind of shimmering in the glass.
It's not quite opaque. I can see my hand through it. Oh, here's a Somm in me. No CO2, no sediment. Great tears, beautiful. Really elegant to look at. I love how deep that color is, especially in the light there. Oof. All right, on the nose.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, that's pretty. You know, I love the challenge of this wine, and I think this is a wine maybe that allows us to relax a little bit because we know it's not Cabernet, and maybe some of us aren't familiar with these grapes that are in there, but you smell fruit, you smell red fruit, you smell some spice, you smell some brambly character. So it's very, very captivating in that sense.
I love that you hit on that brambly character because I always associate that with Grenache, and I know that's in here, so I think we're on the right path. And what I love about this, it smells so deep.
It does.
It feels like the fruit is really concentrated. It doesn't feel like quite overripe. It feels really crunchy, but being so deep, I feel like it's gonna unwind really well.
Yeah, it feels very lifted. I'm not getting a heavy, it's just like a very kind of nice fruit aroma dancing out of the glass.
There's still some like earth notes for me, like fresh turned dark earth. I really like that. And I think there's a touch of barrel, but the barrel to me is not driving the bus on this wine.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, often when we talk about aging in barrel, you know, it's a chef with seasoning, right? So there are different degrees of how you use the barrel. And I think this was used in a very subtle way, to just kind of cradle and bring it all together. But I like the fact that it's not jumping out of the glass, just a very subtle toasty note.
Yeah.
Just a hint of it.
Like I get a little vanilla, like on the edge of my nose.
Yeah.
I want to say my palate, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're straining ourselves with great
Exactly.
difficulty. But it is there, and it just kind of rounds out the fruit. I think we're teasing ourselves too much to not taste it.
Yeah,
Shall we
I
do
think
it?
we need to taste now.
Okay.
Really impressive, that balance between richness and freshness. It's like really walking that tightrope in a nice way.
Yeah. And I think some of the best wines do that. Like you want to walk that line of like, is this going to be too ripe? Is it going to be slightly underripe? And you get more interesting flavors. And also you keep that energy to the wine.
Yes.
When you've got good acidity, the wine feels alive. It feels ready to jump out at you in the glass. And it hits the palate in a way that feels electric.
Yeah.
And I love that out of a good wine.
Also, you know, I often hear winemakers say, you know, they want us to finish the bottle, not just because we want you to buy another bottle, but because I think we've all experienced it. You have a wine that you're really excited about, but it's so heavy on your palate, finishing a glass becomes a challenge. So what started out as pleasure becomes a chore. But this wine with that juiciness and that acidity, really you want to keep going back. It's not work to finish this.
It invites you to pour another glass. So I guess that tells us a little bit about what we're gonna have to do when we want to buy this.
Yes.
How many we need to get. First off, what are you gonna put this with if you're gonna have this at your dinner table?
I think it's really versatile. That's the other beauty of this. Having southern roots, I love barbecue, but I think this would go great with pasta, you know, any type of meat dish, kind of root vegetables. I love lentils. I make a lentil stew with chorizo, and I think that would work really well. It has a little bit of smoked paprika in it, and I think that would interact really nicely with the flavors here.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
I'll come visit next time you get that going, so just let me know. I'll be there. Yeah, I fully agree. I especially like the barbecue note. Since we've got such a dense core of fruit, and when I think about good barbecue, I think about really rich sauce. That's a perfect one for me too. So we know what we're gonna put it with on the table, but where's this gonna fit in your cellar? What do you think, Wanda?
I mean, I think this is definitely an example where maybe someone who hasn't started collecting yet, this is a great place to start because the wine is very drinkable and approachable now, but because of that acid and that structure, this can go several years. You're the somm. How many years do you think?
I think if we were holding this in the wine cellar for like 5 years, like this is right now, fall 2023, I think even by the time next year rolls around, this is gonna be singing and really showing itself and unwinding all the interesting notes that are ameliorated here together. You could probably go a little longer, but I think 5 years is where you wanna give it at the start. So if you cannot wait, that's how long it's gonna be showing ideally. And also, you don't need to get just one bottle or even one case. You can get a bunch now. So if we've talked this up so much, you have to try it now. It's ready to drink, get a couple bottles and then open it again later.
Yes, it's always fun to see that evolution. It's something I write about a lot, and many folks don't have the patience. But if you can hold a few, I mean, I think it helps with all of our wine education to see that wine is this living entity that does evolve in the bottle over time. So it's fun to kind of track those differences.
Yeah, and like good wine doesn't belong just with a special occasion. If the wine is good enough and you want to open it badly enough, a lot of things can become special occasions.
It's true.
Yeah. You got the mail today. Cool, special occasion. Let's open a bottle of wine.
Make pizza night a little fancy.
Oh, that's a great way to fancy pizza night. Well, now I'm getting hungry. I think let's get a pizza and let's finish this bottle.
Yes. And this one's ours. They can't have this one.
Ours. Yeah.
There's more.
I hit a couple, so we're good.
Okay, good.
And with that, we'll see you at the next glass.
Cheers.